what do you do? How do you handle the bad days? Well, I think one of the reasons that I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys is because I don't think a lot of people understand this concept of acceptance. Um, it seems that everything in our culture, it seems that everything in our society, it seems like everything that we're exposed to, even the media specifically, it seems to be all sort of garnered towards trying to be happy, trying to force that on ourselves, trying to really resist anything that would ever dare shroud upon our beautiful, happy, glorious days and lives. And that we should only show that side of ourselves. And Barb, I mean, maybe this kind of speaks to what you're talking about. That if you're being negative, there's something wrong with you. If you're having anxiety, there's something wrong with you. You're just not bucking up, so to speak. Or if you're feeling anxious about something or insecure, like, that's on you. Why are you feeling anxious? Why are you feeling insecure? I think this stigma is really dangerous. And if this is something that we're teaching our students, if this is something that we're bestowing our young people, our younger generations, I think that we're going to be in for a really funky looking society 10, 20, 30 years from now, because I'm here to say that bad days, okay, are going to happen, right? They're inevitable. There's no such thing as every day being beautiful and perfect. And do we ever talk about how to handle those bad days? I don't see a lot of conversation about that. And you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, leave in the comments, what's a bad day, and what does that even mean to you? And what is that? How would you describe your bad day? For me, I'd love to see your comments on that. And please share this out if you don't mind. I would really, really appreciate it. Share this out. Sharing is caring. How do you handle it? So my definition of a bad day is when it seems that you have this idea, Mindset Live. You have this idea. This is how this day needs to go. I need to execute this. I need to win at this. I need to achieve this. This needs to happen. This needs to happen. And this needs to happen. Or else it's going to be a terrible day, right? That's my definition of what, I think typically most people would categorize a bad day. Barb says not being able to breathe freely is a bad day. Yeah, I know. I can't believe you're still going through that. I'm so sorry. Negativity is a choice. Facing it and turning it around is also a choice. Beautiful. Love it. Speaking of choice, I had a great conversation with my students very recently. The first couple of days of class, of my classes specifically, are usually some of the most profound because I really get cooking. I always love a brand new audience. I always love students who have no clue who I am. And even though there's an internet now that's really widely used and bigger than ever, and even though there's even like sites like Rate My Professor or Rate My Teacher or God knows what, I try not to pay attention to those. Students can kind of find out a little bit about their professors and instructors, more so than we did in the past. But still, there's nothing like, the flesh and blood, right? There's nothing like flesh and blood. And so I loved the first couple of days, and, we were talking about choice. And I truly vehemently believe this, and I'm sure a lot of you will disagree with this, but I truly feel that there's a majority of things in our life are completely out of our control. We think we have this false idea that we have a lot of control over what happens in our life. I'm here to tell you, I think stuff just happens. Okay. I'm not saying that you can't plan and you can't organize and you can't try to create an environment, a space, a pursuit that, speaks to that, or you can orchestrate something that heads in a certain direction. But sometimes, oftentimes, most of the time, stuff just happens. Okay, shit happens. Let's just be honest. It's hard to control. It's impossible to control everything in life. And, most things just really occur. Most things just happen. Now, where I think that we have the unbelievable choice, the profound choice, thank you, Dean, is how we react to it. It's how we react to it, right? William James, who's pretty much the godfather of modern psychology, somebody who worked with Dr. Richard Bruce in the late 19th century and worked with Whitman, actually interviewed Walt Whitman, and he's the brother of Henry James, the famous novelist. And Freud and Jung and a lot of psychoanalysts, I mean, they just looked up to William James. William James was like their god. William James said the true sign of intelligence is choosing what to show interest in, is carefully examining what you're exposed to, right? Something I talk about with my students all the time is critical thinking, discernment, self-investigation, self-awareness, as Aristotle said, is one of the greatest assets that we have as human beings, is our self-awareness. Things happen, shit happens all the time. Okay, car accidents, right? Breakups, relocation, job not working out. You didn't win that tennis match. You know, things don't work out. Majority of the time, things don't work out the way you would expect them. Now, notice how I'm categorized that and characterizing that a lot differently. Good to see you, Dean. Thank you. I've always believed we have been given free will to choose what we want from life. Some choose religion, others choose a secular life. Dean Jonathan. Thank you, Gene, for sharing that. Yeah, I believe, I'm not sure that I believe in my experience, Dean, and I totally respect your thoughts. I'm not sure that I believe in free will, but I believe in free choice. And what do I mean by that? This is exactly what I mean by that, is that most of the things that happen in our lives, they tend to just happen. There's a deeper intelligence to life that if we just respect it, if we just accept it, right? You know, and look at it with a different point of view, look at it with a different pair of eyes, we may just see that it's not this cruel, misgiving, you know, treacherous thing that it sometimes seems to appear to be. We don't have a lot of choice over the things that happen in our life, but we have absolute sovereignty in how we react to it and how we interpret it. What are your thoughts on that? I would love to hear your thoughts on what I just said right there. And this is what I mean by bad days and terrible days. Um, yes, I do, Dean. I absolutely do. I believe that free will and free choice are very different, Dean. Yes. I think that free will would mean for me to, you know, like I have free will, right? I can leave my family and just go to Mexico right now, right? That's free will, right? But I can't exercise that. It's impossible. That's not, I don't have that. I don't have that ability to do that because there's so many conditions, there's so many innumerable variables. Never mind the fact that I love my wife and I love where I am, right? And that you know, and also, you know, I don't feel that we have that much power over life. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just don't feel that I feel it's pretty narcissistic to think that, you know, I make my own luck and everything I do is successful and I can do whatever I want. And I mean, you know, there's a definite sort of, you know, stream to life. There's a flow to life. There's a definite intelligence to this thing called the mother mystery. And it seems to unwind and unfold. And I'm happy to watch it unfold and unwind on its own, you know, with or without my help or aid, right? I mean, I feel that the real choice comes in how you interpret events. So, for example, job doesn't work out, they fire you, right? Or so let's just take an example of that. They fire you. Some people will look at that as, okay, this means that I am must be a terrible human being. This must be, I must be, I've lost all hope. I mean, how could they fire me? What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? There must be something wrong with me. There must be something deficient in my skill set, in my ability to function as a worker, as somebody who can be a part of a team. You know, and really that can start cycling and start creating this whole narrative right in your head, and it affects everything and everybody around you, and it's all just up here, mindset, right? It's all just up here, whereas somebody else might look at that and say, wow, they fired me, I'm free, this could be the best day of my life, now I can go do what I really want to do, this happened for a good reason, maybe the reason they fired me is because I can now go do that thing that I've always wanted to do. maybe this could be the best thing that ever happened to me, right? And why not choose the latter, even if the previous were true, which most of us know here watching, and if you don't, your imagination is much more menacing than it actually appears to be, right? I think it was Winston Churchill who said, I've done more suffering, I've suffered from images and thoughts and things that never happened. 90% of my stress came from things that never happened.